Hello. Welcome to Class 2, also known as Class 4. It's true. Today we're going to talk about breakthroughs, not in chess, just in your own life. I recommend going to the mountains of India. Then you'll find a breakthrough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. This class was determined by something that happened yesterday, and that reminded me of something else, which reminded me of something else, and then I got lots of positions from it. So this is what happened yesterday, was this. And when I say this, I just made that up, but it's close to what happened. So in the tournament yesterday that you played in, and I played you, this was the last round, and there was a position very similar to this. It wasn't this, but it's close enough. I knew where like 5 of the things were, and then I just made the rest up. Yeah. So in this position, white's threatening, knight takes f7. Okay. So black thought he had a way to save himself. He played the move f5. Okay, and his intention was that if white doesn't take en passant, he saved his pawn. And if white does take en passant, there'll just be a lot of trading. King takes knight, king takes pawn, with probably a drawn endgame, he thought. And this is a well-known trick, which got me to 7 other positions from this.
Oh, I see.
You do?
You do en passant and then you move.
En passant, and then?
F7.
Then you play f7. Yeah, the truth hurts. Yeah. And then, okay, black resigns. So actually, after taking en passant, black realized what he had done, but nothing you can do now. Like, that's it. Okay. So f5 loses the game immediately because you don't take the knight, you play f7. Normally, when you're doing this, you're tricking your opponent. Here, like, black tricked himself because white wasn't threatening to do that, but he didn't see that happening. Now, that reminded me of a game that I played before you were born, except you, in 1999. Okay, and we were partying, right, for obvious reasons. You know, Prince was there, it was great. And it was in Salt Lake City, my only time in Salt Lake City, at the US Championship. And I did something similar. That reminded me of other similar positions. Then I want to do a breakthrough lecture. So there you go. And then we can get the guy with the big teeth and breakthrough. Okay, so this was a game that I was white against Nick Firmian, 3-time US champion in the US Championship, of all places. And our ratings are similar, except his is higher. Now here, white's winning because I have 2 connected pass pawns in the center that are queening.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So everything wins. But I won with a nice breakthrough, which would be confusing, except every position is the same, so that's less confusing. Then when you have these ideas, you'll see them. And more importantly, if not equally importantly, when your opponent has these ideas, you won't allow them. And that's actually the big issue I have when I teach chess, is a lot of people who learn chess from the internet or from books or from magazines, whenever you're asked a question, it's always your move and how do you win? And then you solve it or you don't solve it. And then you don't get to learn how to play defense and stop your opponent, because no puzzles are like that. Your opponent's doing this, what do you do about it? You're like, I don't know. If I was the other guy, though, I'd win. Well, that's not helping you defend well. That's why the best players in the world defend really well, and you guys don't ever defend. Okay, so in this position, black should resign, but he didn't. He played king h7. Okay, and now, as recommended by Jim Morrison, I broke on through, right? Yeah. I think that was the right number of yes, wasn't it? Okay, so I want to make a queen because I like making queens. But he has these 2 guys stopping me. Also, my rook's attacked. Now, any move wins, rook g1, rook g3, whatever. But I took the knight because it was very easy to calculate. If he takes with the rook, I go here.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. Okay. So he took with the king. Right? And my idea was?
D6.
D6. And I was like, oh man, this is looking good. Now, again, he should resign, but okay, he's playing. And instead of moving his rook, which doesn't help because I queen my pawns, played here. And the obvious move is to take his rook, he takes my pawn, and I'm up a piece and I'm winning. But I played a better move because world champion Emmanuel Lasker said, when you see a good move, look for a better one. What's better than, what's that?
D7.
D7, very similar to the F7 in the aforementioned position. The truth hurts. Now he finally did the correct thing. Resigned. No. But when I saw that ending yesterday, I was like, oh, that's like this ending. And then I found the game and yeah. Try to remember ideas for my own games and other people's games so I can use them later, either in lessons or in my own games. And luckily for him, he's not really lucky, it didn't matter. If it didn't matter, he'd look quite the fool. You could, and in fact, yesterday it didn't matter. When the guy played F7, he's like, oh, here it didn't matter, he just wasn't resigning, and so it was cute. But it could be that D7 wins and nothing else does, he didn't see it. But since he didn't care, it didn't really bother him. So sometimes the cute moves win, and if you don't have those cute moves, you don't win. And you have to look for them, and that's why you should never move immediately unless your time dictates that. If you have time on your clock, and you're like, well, this is the obvious move, it doesn't mean you have to play. You could play another move. Other moves could be good. For example, it's also possible that better than taking is knight e4 check. It's possible. I'll show you what I mean. He would take, I assume. I would take. And now if he takes, I can check and win his rook. I mean, so it's possible that pawn takes rook is like the third best move. Even though it's the most obvious you would move instantly, you're like, wait a minute. And d7 obviously is better. So. Okay, then I thought of some other positions, and then I thought of some puzzles and some breakthroughs and queening pawns. And one thing that I taught in the last class, were you here for the last class?
No.
No. The last class, what was I teaching last class? Yeah. In the end game, pawns go up in value. This is why chess is difficult. I actually had a really good joke, except Raj didn't show up, so it's, I don't even tell a joke anymore. But it was a joke to make fun of Raj. But, it had to do with the reason computers are terrible at chess, since they're the best. It was that the value of the pieces changes, so you can't tell what the value is. But since he's not here, that's not funny. Okay, so, for example, in the opening, your pawn's not worth very much, but in the end game, your pawn might promote, then it's worth a lot. So, in the end game, pawns go up in value, and therefore, if possible, you would like your pawns to go up the board. Then they get more valuable, as opposed to nothing happening. And the most obvious example, frankly, is this one, which you all know. You should see how confused they look. It's funny. I couldn't do it. I can't look that confused. You guys like practice every day or something. Okay, this is a well-known position that most of you at home know. And this is the most famous breakthrough. Now in this position, if it's white to move, white's winning. If it's black to move, it's a draw, because black will stop white from winning. Although if black doesn't see the winning move for white, then he probably won't stop it and white will win anyway. As Archer would say. Now that Archer's walked in, somebody in the room knows the answer. Good job. Okay, so the point of the lecture, you missed the first couple positions, was pawns breaking through, rawr, and then becoming queens, and so forth. Too bad Archer doesn't know the answer. You. White plays b6 because white wants to make a queen. Making a queen is good. Okay, now again, the reason it's hard to find moves that seem weird is you were told not to make these moves. However, sometimes the end justifies the means. You said that a lot, right? Like, you shouldn't give a rook away, but if you give a rook away and you mate your opponent, then you should give a rook away. But these are things you don't think about because you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't go run in the street because a car might hit you. But if there's $1 million bag in the street, maybe you should run and go get that bag. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe you should let me get it. So the point is, white needs to queen, and so does black. And because white's closer, white wins. If black's pawns were down the board, then maybe black would win. Now, if it's black's turn to move, black doesn't want white to make a queen. Now, still, 2 out of 3 of you are confused, so Meatloaf is happy. But he said it's not bad. And the reason we're queening, obviously we're threatening like 2 different ways to win. And whichever way you take, you're getting rid of one of your pawns. Now that this pawn is gone, which I'm highlighting, this pawn's almost queening. It's close. And the only pawn stopping him is this pawn, so we get rid of it with A6. Now we're threatening this, so you have to take it, and then we queen. And we win because you have a queen. Or you can make a rook and win. Okay. And conversely, if you take it with a pawn, then C6 wins for the same reason. And we make a queen. And there's nothing the black can do if white plays B6. Of course, if it's black's move, black plays B6, and now it's a draw. I can't play B6 because the computer won't let me because it's white's turn. Okay. Now, if white plays C6, that does not win. Okay, and black has 3 moves: A6, B6, and takes. Okay, and actually...
4. Oh.
Well, you can move the king anywhere. I meant to stop queening. Actually, I mean, this also is fine, but after B6, it's just totally blocked. Yeah. And that's why in this position, black should play B6. And then you can't break through anymore because I just take the same way you do. Yeah. Okay, and the point of it isn't whether you find the right move or don't find the right move or calculate it or don't. None of that matters. What matters is you know what you want to do. And what you want to do is make a queen.
Okay.
So if this makes a queen, then do that. If this makes a queen, do that. If this, and then you just figure out which one does. If none of them do, then none of them do. Turns out B6 does. Now, after A6, instead of B6, B6 was the correct move. Okay, black just blundered. Now white's winning. White has 1 move that wins.
C6.
C6. And again, we're breaking on through. Yeah. So, calculating is important, but before you calculate, you have to know like what you're trying to do. And a lot of kids, and when I say a lot of kids, it's like 90% or more, is they move instantly in the ending, don't see anything. Like, oh, let's move our king over. And they don't calculate anything. And I'm like, this move wins. And they're like, what? I'm like, well, if you didn't know B6 won, which obviously they didn't, you could calculate it and see that it wins if you can calculate. But the idea isn't even to calculate it right. The idea is to understand that you want to make a queen. And when you go here, then here, then here, you're not making a queen, you're moving your king over. Make a queen, you win. So whenever it's the same number of pawns, there's a very good chance you can get through there. And the person who's going to break through is the person who's closer to queening. Black is very far from queening. White is not. And in the end game, that's very important. Even when it's not a passed pawn, you can make a passed pawn, sometimes by giving up pawns, because the passed pawn's more important. This was actually the simplest example of what I'm going to show you in this ilk. You agree? Yeah. So this is 3 against 3. B6 wins. It's in every book. Everybody knows it, etc. Mainly, etc. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is 4 against 4. This is different. And what's funny about this is white has 2 ways to attempt to break through. F5 and G5. There's no other pawn moves. So that's all you got. And shocking the crowd, are you guys easily shocked? Both of those moves win. So you can't mess up. No matter how bad you calculate, you win. Good job.
What's your king?
Who?
What's your king B1?
Well, king B1 might win. I have to think about it. Always play king B1.
Then do it on the engine.
Yeah, I could use my brain instead. No, king B1 doesn't win because after king B4, F5, I can take it and play king C5. Unless G5 wins, then king C5, F5. That can't win. There's no way that wins. Is there G5, king C5, F5? No, then I take... No, that doesn't win either. Okay, yeah. Okay, so basically you're just pushing your pawns. You're just rawr. Okay, you're pushing them. And then eventually one's gonna queen because we're gonna get rid of one of black's pawns. So for example, let's go here. Obviously, white's just queening here. I mean, that's not hard. Okay, so black like tries to saunter over, tries. And now what do we do? And also I have another question. Does more than one move win? I think the answer is yes. I think white has 2 winning moves here. You?
F6.
I think F6 wins, and I think G5 wins.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because I'm going to make a queen. My pawns are on the 5th rank, yours are not. And it's important I queen way before you, because if I queen 1 move before you, you're going to queen with check. But I think I queen like 2 or 3 moves before you. So I think this wins. I know your move wins. Yep. And your move also has to win. Yep. I like the way all moves win. Man, it's harsh. Also, G5 wins, and the idea is the same, and then F5. Rawr! Crashing through. And after here, 1 move wins. Who can find it?
G6.
G6, and then this guy is going to be looking good. Yeah, looking good. Yes. Now after takes, I think taking this is a blunder. Yeah, I have to go here because of the queening with check thing I was telling you about. I queen first, but I queen with check. So you got to be careful. Queening first doesn't necessarily mean you win. But after here, you don't take on G6, you just go here. Now. Yeah, now. Okay, so white's winning 3 against 3 is well known. 4 against 4, like everything was winning. Go here, go here. Yeah. And the reason is, I don't care if I lose pawns. I only want a queen. That's all I care about. And it seems like 3 pawns can't stop 3, and 4 pawns can't stop 4. So you can always just bust through. What's that?
How about 4 queens?
4 queens, you'd still maybe. Okay, so here everything wins. G5, F5. King B1 does not win, unless I'm wrong. I calculated King B4 was fine. Yes, I did something right in my life. Okay, but yeah, F5 wins, G5 wins, and we go rawr. And of course, what happens is people have preconceived notions, like, well, 4 pawns can't beat 4 pawns, I'll just move my king over. When actually 4 pawns easily beats 4 pawns, 3 pawns easily beats 3 pawns. And when it was 3 against 3, and it was black's turn to move, black could stop it with that B6 move. Here, black can't do anything. If it's black's move, too bad. Although actually King B4 should be okay. But all these pawn moves lose. If you play F6, I play F5. Rawr.
How about if it's bug house?
Exactly. Like G6, everything wins. G5 obviously wins, taking wins, everything wins.
Play bug house?
Okay, no talking. No talking. Okay, so in king and pawn endings, what matters so far, we haven't looked at all the positions yet, is making a queen, having more advanced pawns, and finding a breakthrough more important than, oh, I'm up a pawn. I'm down a pawn. It doesn't matter if you're making a queen. It doesn't matter. Load next game. It said, no. Rawr, I'm mad. Computer's mad. Okay. Now this position I never saw before today. And this position is important because it depends on whose move it is. I didn't tell you whose move it was because I'm mean. Right. Now what a lot of people do, for example Archer, try to answer as fast as possible. What's more important is to be correct. Right? Because anybody can suggest legal moves and go, oh, that's not right. Anybody could. Well, not anybody. Some people suggest illegal moves. Okay, so in this position, if it's black's turn to move, then it's a draw. If it's white's turn to move, white's winning. However, white has to provide the proper sequence of moves. Otherwise, you can't win. So we'll let you think about 20 minutes.
What?
All right, 30. Sorry. See, Archer knows you need a group of people to solve issues. It takes a village. That's why he ate a village burger. Truth hurts. The bathroom's down the hall. You know that. Your mom owns this place. Archer,
A6.
A6 is correct. That's what Brendan was thinking, right?
That's what I was wondering, if you have to play A6 before B6.
Yeah, well, B6, I take it.
Yeah,
Yeah, then you're all talking a badge. Then you're fighting for a draw.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now, if it was white's move, which it's not, white would go here, and then I win. But you can't do anything about it. So here, for example, there. For example. And after here, there's only one move that wins.
I'll take C7.
Algebraic notation only in this class.
B takes C7.
B takes A7. Rawr. B7 does not win. It looks good too. It's like, well, this has to win. I win eventually. And actually, you don't win eventually. Yeah. I can go king here forever. And I will. Until you stalemate me. Yeah. So A6, the only winning move. If it's black's turn to play, black can play C4. So let's go, I don't know, here. Because C4 is...
Explosion.
Right. And now if A6, I go here. And in fact, if you don't play A6, I go here. If you play this, king here draws and taking draws. I got everything draws. So black to play C4 is a draw. And probably king D6 may also draw, maybe. Unclear. C4 definitely draws. This might draw. But white to play A6 wins. And you have to break through, and you have to do it in the right move order. And the reasoning is actually interesting here. It's reasoning you wouldn't think of. I think of it every move, because I'm high rated and you guys aren't. Every move, I try to find what my opponent wants to do. Someday you guys will do that. No, I'm just kidding, I'll never do that. So, in this position, black doesn't want white to queen, because I said so.
Yeah.
Therefore, the quickest way to get back is king c6, king b7. Much quicker than anything else. If I play b6, that allows king c6. If I don't play b6, that does not allow king c6. So I'm queening in the same number of moves for white, but I'm making it hard for black. And if you play b6 with the idea of queening, you're also going to play a6. If you play a6 with the idea of queening, you're also going to play b6, but you stop king c6. So a6 is better. Because black doesn't want to do that. Black wants to go directly. Yeah? So if black wants to play king c6, don't let him. And a6 doesn't let him, but a6 helps your cause. It helps you queen, doesn't help him get back. Truth hurts. I mean, for black. White's great, a6. And the engine, of course, doesn't have any trouble. Just announces mate. a6, mate. Rawr. Even with only two, what do you call them, cores. Good thing Raj is in here. 2 cores, he'd walk out in a huff. Maybe that's why he doesn't come back. 2 cores. He's furious. Okay? It took it 1 minute to find mate in 14. He's mad. Okay. That was that breakthrough. Break on through. Okay. This one I also learned today. Now this is a very interesting puzzle because if it's black's turn to move, black wins. If it's white's turn to move, white wins. The truth hurts.
Yeah.
So you got to watch it. Now, of course, if it's white's turn to move, white plays king d4. But it's black's turn to move, so what does black do?
B3.
Who?
B3.
b3. B3 looks like it wins to me, but that's not the move that they want. Huh, that's weird. I like B3. I like the other move too. Looks to me like it wins, right? After takes, you play C3. Huh. Yeah, they wanted C3, which also wins, and then some. Wonder if B3 wins even quicker. Man. Because here I could go here, and then it would take you a while to win. Like black would win, but it'd take like another 15 moves. But I think after B3, it doesn't take long at all. Yeah.
Check stop.
Man, I like B3 better than
What's your
C3.
stop first, like?
What do you mean stockfish for? You got me. Yeah, B3 I think wins even quicker than C3. I'm not sure if the computer's going to announce mate because 2 cores. I found 4 cores. Then B3 doesn't win. What? Oh, after here, I forgot I could go here. I saw it and I forgot. I forgot that I could play king here. I thought it was a black pawn on B3. Yeah. That's why B3 is not as good because it doesn't win. So B3, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this, and I thought this was illegal. The pawn on B3 was black because I can't see anymore. This is dying and here's blocked. Yeah. Okay, so B3 actually doesn't work. King D3, bam. Solid. Okay, so C3, which actually does work. And then you go here and so forth. Yeah. And King D4 wins for white. Obviously, and frankly. Man, B3, what did I, even though I took this, I thought this was still black. I gotta talk to the Rolling Stones. I want a pawn on B3 and I want to paint in black. Right? No? If you're not sure, go get your mom. Mother's little helper. What? And the kids got nothing. They got nothing. Well, I gotta make more Rolling Stones jokes. Let's see. Man, that's the song now. I can't think of the name of it. Terrible. Oh well, I guess I can't think of the name of it because I can't get no satisfaction. Horrible. Okay, so again, this looks good for white because it looks like this king is stopping this, and this king's going to go over here. And if it was white's move, that would be the case. For example, let's play here, and now it's white's move. Now the computer's like, yay, King D4 doesn't win. What? Why not? Why doesn't King D4 win? King D4 loses? Oh yeah, C3 takes, and then B3.
Yes.
I saw C3 and takes, I thought white won anyway. But he doesn't because of A3. Like in this position, then A3 wins. Otherwise white wins. It's tough, you gotta play the right move in chess. Oh, so actually black isn't worried at all. King D4 is not even a threat. Man, even that book was wrong I read it from. Yeah. Okay, so black's winning and black can never lose because that's not a threat. White has to go here and try to grovel for a draw. Good groveling too. That groveling is gonna work. Yeah. Amazing. Learn something new every day. Yeah, when pawns are queening, then you gotta watch it. It doesn't matter where the king is, it doesn't matter nothing. If the pawn queens, it queens. If it doesn't queen, doesn't queen. Like, that's it. How many pawns you have doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Yeah. All that matters is you queen. Nothing else matters. It's funny, when I was your age, you two,
Yeah.
are you 8 or 9?
9.
He'll be 9 tomorrow?
This is the 4th?
Oh, you're right. Today's the 4th. Tuesday you'll be 9, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. His birthday's my half birthday. Also, my birthday's his half birthday. For obvious reasons. Okay, so when I was your age, my brother, who's also a master, we would play the starting position of chess, except one of us would have a king and a queen, you know, where they start. The other one would have a king and 8 pawns. That was it. And you know what we learned? The queen takes all 8 pawns. We learned that. Yeah. Man, the queen really takes them all. We were pretty good at chess. We were better than you guys. Well, wait, when I was 9? No, you're better than me when I was 9. Yeah. That was about your strength. But my brother was 12, so he was better than you. Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to that, because you guys are like, what if I have 5 pawns left when he queens? Man, queen is crushing. If only you guys knew how much a queen beats pawns. I've never done this, so I'm going to get scared here. Are you scared?
No.
I am. I wonder if the computer's going to announce mate. So I've done this a lot when I was your age. And then since I was like 10, I haven't done it. But white won every game. Well, remember, when I was white or he was white. Man, the queen was really good. Queens are good. Roar! The queen's going roar. Roar! 2 CPUs. Good thing Raj is in here. All right, now I'm less embarrassed, slightly.
Let's queen one.
I think it should announce mate. I mean, not my engine, but I think like a real engine would. Like if it was 40 cores or whatever, they would announce mate in like 28 or something. I think this will announce mate like tomorrow. Yeah, but anyway, it says +8, and it's queen for 8 pawns, so that's, yeah. Anyway, the point of the story is, when you're like, I have so many pawns for a queen,
The story is
now you gotta have like rooks and bishops and knights for a queen, not pawns.
that you can't touch the system.
What? Who?
The point of the story is that you can't.
I can't what? I can't hear.
Whatever it was, like in the what was it called? I threw it to the ground.
What?
So no.
You said you can't trust the system? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, that is the, yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah. You know that song? Terrible. Can't trust the system. Yeah, that's the point. Hollywood phonies? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Okay. Now, once again, whoever's turn it is winning. I recommend it's your turn. Whatever color you have. First, we're going to pretend. We're going to pretend it's black's turn. What should black do?
E6.
E6, correct. Then black wins. Because white can't do anything, and then those are good. But that's good, right? Yeah. Okay, but it's white's turn, otherwise this would be an easy problem. E6 resigns. So now white has to do something before black plays E6. And again, this is looking for your opponent's ideas. If black plays E6 and wins, because you can't move your pawns up, you better move your pawns up now. So how do we begin?
E6.
E6, I take it. I'm serious. I see no other move other than taking it.
F5.
F5. Now, if it was white's turn to move, white would go here.
No.
That should be pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
If black takes, this should be pretty reasonable. And I queen my G pawn. Yeah? No? Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So after F5, there's only one move that makes sense for black.
E6.
E6. Now you take either way and win, depending on what your preference is. And now you got another F pawn. You got another one. And now you play F5 again, and the king runs over. Come on, king, come on, come. Aw. Darn, it's like a puzzle somebody set up, because it is. Aw. Yeah. So F5 wins, black to play E6 wins. F5 barely wins, because they put the king over here. It's a puzzle. They set it up that way. But the point is, I have 4 pawns, and you have 3 pawns. Rawr, we have to break through. Because I'm already losing over here. And sometimes you do things because you're desperate. You're like, well, if I move back and forth, I can resign. So let's do something crazy. And then that wins. Because you had to do something crazy. This is going to win in the long run. So you got to do something crazy. Well, like, what are you going to do? Let me give you an example. In boxing sometimes, if the boxing match goes 12 rounds, you lose. So you better win in 1 or 2 rounds. And then maybe you'll win. This happens in boxing all the time. And then it never works. The guy just loses in 12 rounds. It's like, oh well. So if you're going to lose for sure, because you're down a rook and a bishop for nothing, time to go crazy. Right? If you sack a rook and the attack might work or it might not, but you're already down a rook and a bishop, I would sack the rook and hope that it works. Because if you don't sack the rook, you're down a rook and a bishop. So here, even if F5 doesn't work, gotta play F5 and hope that it works, which it does. But you can't be like, well, I'm getting crushed over here. We better get something going here. Either E6 or F5. I gotta do one of them. Because after here, I'm all talking a badge. I mean, and so sometimes without knowing you're right, you do it anyway. Because if you're wrong, it's still better than being wrong the other way where you have 0%. Now, I've said this before, but again, you guys weren't listening and weren't here. A friend of mine who's probably better at bridge than I am right now but was learning when I was playing bridge with him. He's a mathematician too. Anyway, we're playing bridge, and he had two ways to play the hand. One way was 0%. That's not good. The other way was 50%. That's better. He chose 0%. So after the hand I said, you did that, which never works. He said, I agree. And I said, or you could do that, which works half the time. And he said, I agree. I said, therefore you should have done the other one. And his answer was, well, what if it doesn't work? And I said, wait, what? I said, it might not work, but it might, and your way never does, therefore it's better. And he was like, what do you mean? He has a PhD in math, and he's a lot smarter than I am. But when you're a bad bridge player and you're learning, you just always confused. So now he's better than me at bridge, so now it's funny to him what I'm saying. But, okay, the point is, let's say F5 doesn't work, and it loses. You should do it anyway. Because if you don't play F5, don't do that, Archer. If you don't play F5, you lose. If you play F5, maybe you should lose, but you might win. So do it anyway. Here, you win. But even if you didn't win, do it anyway. Because then the guy might get confused. If you go here, the guy's not going to get confused. So you got to like try to make him confused. You got to try something. Okay, now the most famous one, which none of you know. And most of you will start crying. We're going to spend like 15 minutes on the last one, just crying basically. Okay? Very, very famous puzzle. And not only that, they claim it's a game. Am I supposed to believe this is an actual game? I guess. I'll believe it, okay? I believe it. The word for today is apocryphal. Okay, good.
I thought it was something else.
I don't know. I can't believe when things are this perfect that they actually happened. So, you know, in Madrid, 1933, come on. Rufus and Doofus, yeah, I don't know, come on. Okay, so supposedly this happened. This is the most famous thing that's ever happened in, don't do that, in breakthroughs ever. Not just in chess, in any breakthrough. And if they solve AIDS and cure it, this is better. You won't even believe what's happening here. You won't be able to walk out of the room when I show you this. Okay.
Run!
Yeah, have you seen this?
No.
You've seen it. Okay. Now, you know what we're talking about. So you know black's first move. Because you know what we're talking about. Let me tell you how hard this is. I turned the engine on today. It took it 15 seconds to play the right move for black. And it got to depth 29 and didn't see a depth 30, it saw it. Man, this is too perfect. Incorrect.
It takes me to.
All right. Obviously, the whole class is pawn breakthroughs, so we got queen. Okay. Now, if white doesn't take the rook, then that worked out pretty well. If white doesn't take that rook, you should take that pawn all day, right? You got to take that pawn because he's not taking the rook. Then we just win. We play c3. We play rook takes a2. We play rook b4. We're winning. Okay. You get to take the rook. Okay. Now the next move is obvious. Then none of the moves are obvious. That's just confusion. C3. Okay. Now let's stop to think for a second. If it's black to move, black plays pawn takes knight.
Yeah.
So that's the end of that. Okay. And you can't be like, well, let's let him do it. Let's go here, and then we'll let him play pawn takes knight. No, that's check. Nah, can't do that. Okay. So you can't let him play pawn takes knight. Therefore, there's two things you can do. You can move your knight. You could. Or, what's the other thing you can do other than moving the knight? What else can white do that stops pawn takes knight?
Rook takes b6.
Rook takes b6. Okay, first of all, let's move the knight. Then we'll get that over with. Where can white move his knight that makes any sense at all?
d3.
c3 is illegal.
d3.
d3. Okay. If you don't go to d3, what?
That's what I said.
I can't hear. If you go anywhere but d3, the pawn just queens. No? Yeah?
Yeah.
c2, c1. Yeah, you don't agree? You agree?
D3.
Okay, d3. Okay, now the obvious move for black.
C4.
C4 check, and then that's it. If you take, I take this. And you can't, I'm too good. These pawns are too good. Black wins. Okay. So knight d3 doesn't work, so white plays. Knight d3 doesn't work. What's the other move? You said it.
Rook b6.
Rook takes b6. Okay, now I have to call Karen in to bring Kleenex because you're going to cry when you see the next move. You'll never stop crying. You'll cry the rest of your life. On your deathbed when you're 80, like, why are you crying? You'll be like, because Ben showed us this position. Rawr. Now, obviously, if pawn takes knight, rook takes pawn, white wins. And if c2, knight d3, and white wins. If pawn takes rook, knight d3, and white wins. Looks like white's winning. Truth hurts. Bathroom's down the hall.
C4.
C4 is explosive. We're not even halfway done yet. Confusing the audience. Now, if it was black's turn to move, which it's not, but if it was, black has two moves that win. C2 wins, because we stopped knight d3, and pawn takes rook also wins. White only has one move that makes any sense. It's not easy to find, but you'll be like, oh, okay, I agree, if I show it to you. So try to find it. What can white do?
Resign.
That's not a move, and it doesn't make any sense. So black has two threats, which I just told you. C2 and pawn takes rook. Stopping pawn takes rook's easy, move your rook. If you move your rook and black plays c2, I have a way to deal with that. You,
C6. Rook b4.
rook b4, because if rook c6, I take your knight. Right?
Yeah.
But after rook b4, it looks like white's winning again. Because if you take the knight, you lose. You play c2, you lose. C2, rook takes c4, right? All right. The bathroom's down the hall. It is. Come on, somebody answer who's not Archer.
A5.
A5. If only Archer had seen that. Yeah. Now, black's threatening A takes B4. Which wins? The point is, if you play rook c4 and I take the knight, the a5 pawn stops rook b4. The truth hurts. Okay, and if you play knight c4, then I play c2.
I would feel sad if I was white in that position.
Yeah, if you take this, you still lose. Man, you can always lose. It's always easy to lose. Yeah. So a5. And a5 is the end. Now now I'm threatening this. And if the rook goes sideways, I take the knight. If the rook goes vertical, then c2. That rook's perfect to stop c2 and taking the knight, so you attack it. That's the only square the rook can be, which renders this useless because of rook c4, renders this useless because of rook b2. So you attack the rook and the rook has to move. Yeah. See, that seemed a little too perfect. It seemed like a puzzle, but supposedly it was that game.
What?
This was a game, and that's how the game ended. It could be made up, it could be it happened, I don't know. It just seems too good to be real. Like that couldn't have been the game, that he played rook b2 and c3 and c4 and a5. What? How do you play all that? Who are these people? Etc. Yeah, too perfect. You have to go to the internet and investigate for years whether this is made up or it actually happened. Yeah. Now, what's funny is, I don't think the computer remembers anything, so. Yeah, it doesn't play rook takes b2. It will. It has to get to like depth 30. Because usually it's just tactics, it's calculation. Computer finds it's like, oh, okay. Well, I found it quicker this time. Yeah, and now it doesn't do that because it sees all that immediately. So it plays like ridiculous. It plays where black just wins easily. Like gives all the pawns away. Obviously, if black doesn't take the rook, you take that b2 pawn all day. But it sees everything. It sees this. Black only has, whoa, what's going on? Black only has one move that wins. Then after this, black only has one move that wins. And then after this, black only has one move that wins. Which is what we looked at. And then the computer's like, I resign. Okay. Very suspicious. All that matters is you queen. Nothing else matters. And sometimes the moves don't make a lot of sense. And you're like, oh, I'm queening. Now, I have a special extra. And the reason it's special extra is this also was a game, and I also don't believe it. But I mean, it could be a game, could be I'm wrong. It's just too perfect. Like, I'm furious. I've never been so mad, etc. Mainly, etc. And I'm sure you guys know this one. That means they don't know it. I've shown Archer, you might have forgot. Is this right? Yeah, that's right. This is supposedly a game also. It's hard for me to believe because it's too perfect. Okay, so if king takes knight, that would be stalemate because I said so. Bathroom's down the hall. And then if you move your rook, let's say there, then that's a draw. Knight and pawn versus rook. And if it's black's move, then he takes and he wins. Right. So it looks good for black. Looks like black can draw. White has one move that wins. Only Brenton can find it. I'll give you a hint. What's the move you would never play here? That's the answer. You'd never play it.
C6.
C6 isn't a move.
King C6.
That's terrible. Not terrible enough. I asked for the worst move. You suggest a normal looking move. I want the worst looking move ever.
Rook B7.
Worse.
Rook A8.
Rook A8, the only move that wins.
What the?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. That's the only move that wins.
If King C6.
To me, it's too perfect. It's like a puzzle. But supposedly this is a game.
What?
Yeah. And then after here, the only move that wins is there. The truth hurts. There's no stalemates when you can't. And after knight takes, white's winning. Rawr. Nobody?
Oh, King C8.
King C8. Rawr. And white wins. You should go to A6, you don't stalemate. Now for a computer, this is really easy. There's no legal moves. So a computer like solves this immediately. Yeah. It says rook A8, mate in 20. Computer's no problem. Notice it's the only move that wins. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
See, this is also supposedly a game.
Look at this. Look at what is that? How is it?
Yeah, I don't know. The other one was a game too. I don't know. They could be games.
Yeah.
They seem like puzzles. But yeah. Who invented this puzzle? Or this? If it was a game, I understand. Invented this puzzle is hard.
Look at this.
Yeah, I like that. That's the only move that wins, and he played it according to the story. That's what you would have played if you were playing in a tournament?
Yes. No.
No lying in my chess center. Obviously, you've seen it before. Ridiculous. Frankly, ridiculous. Are you confused still? You understand everything.
No, it's isn't there a term for that? What is it?
Well, your opponent's in stalemates, you unstalemate them.
Yeah.
Not that it's called that, but yeah. Yeah, so supposedly those are games that look a lot like puzzles to me. So I don't know, I'm puzzled. Yeah. But it's the only move that wins, and just like in the other game, it's the only move that wins. But the only thing that matters is you queen. And here the only thing that matters is you don't stalemate. So you don't stalemate when you go there. I like the way rook A7 is the only move that wins. Man, you gotta work hard to win this game. Yeah. By the way, this is a well-known trick. Is in this position, if the white pawn was anywhere else, everything wins. But when it's a knight pawn, you have to go here to win. If you go here, now you have to go back to the original position, then go here, because there's a stalemate trick. And then after here, you go here, and you have to go back, and then you have to go here and win. You have to avoid stalemate. Yeah. But okay, I mean, it's no problem. Yeah. There's no problem at all, right? Yeah. All right, what did we learn today? Make a queen. Don't stalemate. But more importantly, make a queen. Then, you beat everybody. Plus tax. And also, it's all lies, but they're entertaining lies. And in the end, isn't that the real truth? The answer is no. Simpsons joke. From a long time ago. All right, you guys did well, except for the three of you.